Welcome back to another meeting of the PowerDirector Made Simple Club. Today's video is a relatively short and simple one that should help explain one particular item from the What's New in the latest version update for PowerDirector 365 users. While the latest version of PowerDirector promises enhanced LUT editing, let's drop back at least to the previous version to see what did and what didn't work when editing with LUTs. Now here's a screenshot from the previous version of PowerDirector showing my attempt to drop the Jeju-06 filter onto a video track on the timeline, hoping that it would apply then to the food image. PowerDirector wouldn't allow it, and it automatically brought up a message that talked specifically about effects and not necessarily about filters and LUTs. It does specify that effects must be applied directly to a clip or onto an effects track. Now, does this mean that I could have applied this filter to an effects track? Remember, this was the previous version. We'll see how that worked out in just a minute when I actually tried dropping it onto an effects track. As you look at my real-time timeline now, you can see the effects track do not normally appear on the track list unless specifically added by the user. I'll just click on the icon with the plus sign at the far left and top of the track list, or right-click anywhere on an empty area of the timeline and select Add Tracks. It will bring up the Track Manager window, and down at the bottom of the list is where you can opt to add one or more effects tracks at a position of your choice. I'm going to add one effects track and change the position to be below track 3. Now, one word of caution here. By default, the Track Manager window seems to always open wanting to add one video and audio track as noted at the top of the list. I guess they figure this is the most common usage, so they fill that out automatically in advance. If you want only to add an effects track, then try to remember to reset this video and audio part at the top to 0. Now, even if you forget and it adds those tracks by mistake, you can always delete any selected tracks later. Now that I've remembered, I can click on OK to add the one effects track. And now that I've created that track, I'm going to delete it for now. I'll right-click anywhere along that effects track and choose Remove Selected Track. And here we go with that short screen recording done in the previous version showing the effects track already installed and my same attempt to apply the Jeju-06 filter. Now, just like before, the filter cannot be applied to a video track, but notice that it also fails to be applied to an effects track. What this means is that under the previous version of PowerDirector, actual video effects were treated differently than filters and LUTs. This is what has changed in the latest updated version of PowerDirector. Now, filters and LUTs can be applied to an effects track. You may be thinking, so what's the big difference? Why wouldn't I just drop the filter or LUT directly onto the image and be done with it? Well, imagine having multiple clips on the timeline and you want to apply the same filter to all of them. Under previous versions, you would have to apply the filter to each clip individually, one at a time. Now, by being able to use an effects track, you can extend the filter or LUT over to cover all of the clips that you want to be covered. Here is how that works under this latest version. On my timeline, I have all of the sample JPEG images on track 1. I want to apply the Jeju-06 filter to all of them. I could drag the filter down repeatedly and apply it to each clip individually, but here is that newer, faster, one-step method. I could manually add an effects track just like before, but here is another little enhancement. I'm going to grab the filter and start to place it on an empty area of the timeline down at the bottom where there is no track number along the left side. As I momentarily hold it there, PowerDirector contacts Karnak the Magnificent to read my mind and determines that I must want to add this filter on an effects track. It then allows me to just drop the filter on what seemingly would be a blank area, but it then creates the effect track to hold the filter. Isn't science wonderful? This automatic creation of an effects track did not happen in previous versions. And that leaves me a little bit puzzled over the wording about this and the what's new in this version relating to enhanced LUT editing. I'm going to click that icon in the upper right to open up the What's New window. Now it states, dragging a LUT onto empty timeline space no longer creates a new track. Well, yes it does. That's what's new. It was the previous versions that did not create a new track. Under this new version, if you drag a LUT onto an empty timeline space, it will create a new effects track. The statement that Cyberlink gives in the What's New window seems to negate exactly what the new version does. I'll close this troublesome window to get back to my timeline. Now that I have the filter on an effects track, I'm going to grab the right edge of it and extend it all the way over to the right side at the end of the clips. With the playhead at the beginning, I'm going to hit play. This time, every clip has the filter applied to it. Easy peasy. Now, while I'm at it, let me look at that What's New window one more time. If you look at the small image of the sample timeline given in that window, you may be wondering, hey, how did they get the effects track directly under the video track? Well, actually, they did that just to save space in depicting the filter being applied across 3 different video clips. This is Basic Editing 101, Track Management. Now here's how that works. I'll close the What's New window. Let's pretend that all of the images on track 1 are to be shown with the filter applied, but not the 2 images called Travel 1 and Travel 2. Maybe I used a different camera and those images turned out better. Who knows? Who cares? That's what I have to deal with. How can I make that one filter apply to all of the other clips, but not those 2? The solution is simple. I'll just move those 2 images down to track 2 directly under their current positions. Now, so far, so good. But there's one problem. With the effects track at the bottom, according to the standard track priority in PowerDirector, it will apply that effect to all of the tracks above it, including the 2 images on track 2 that I did not want to include with the effect. So, the further solution is to simply click on the left side of the effects track and drag it upwards until it is directly under track 1. Now, if I were to play this, the 2 images on track 2 would be unaltered by the effect. But Baldy Man, wait a minute. It still doesn't look as neat and clean as the image as shown in the What's New window. Okay, the problem is that I am displaying too many empty tracks, making things look cluttered and complicated. I'll right-click anywhere on an empty area of the timeline and select Remove Empty Tracks. Now my images on track 1 have the effects track directly under them, very similar to that display in the What's New window. So now you should fully understand what they mean by enhanced LUT editing. The only thing enhanced is the capability to apply filters and LUTs to effects tracks. And that effects tracks can be automatically created while applying filters and LUTs. In that manner, one filter or LUT can be extended over many images at one time without the need to drop the filter onto each and every image. It's that simple. Now yes, this is an enhancement to the editing process, but the wording of the statement in PowerDirector's What's New window has me baffled. It must have lost something in the translation from Taiwanese to English. Maybe I should let Cyberlink support know about this misleading and confusing statement. Maybe I should get a direct hotline to Cyberlink in Taiwan. All right, any questions? Seeing none, the chair declares this meeting adjourned. Thanks for attending, and I'll see you next time.